Shockingly, I do not believe I've gone over array variables. Now, if I have, you're just going to get a double whammy of them. Don't get confused with them, because they're not confusing at all. They're very easy to use. And I have a create event, a global left press, and a draw event. So, let's go ahead and use a create event. Now, I love arrays. They are just amazing. There's different types of arrays. I'm going to show you the very basic one today. And they're very cool because you can make things like inventories with them. You can do all kinds of cool things. And I'm going to be showing you, of course, later videos, how to make an inventory and stuff. But, I'm just going to show you the basic array right now. And it's very, very cool. This is how you make it. You would go, you can name your array anything. I'm just going to name it my array. So you just put my array, and then you put square brackets, and in the square brackets you'll put in like a number. So I'm just going to start it off at 0, and I'm going to give it a string value of this is array 0. And of course you can put in anything. It doesn't have to be a string. You can put in numbers. It doesn't matter. So this is array 0. Then I'm going to go my array 1 equals this is array 1, and then my array 2 is this is array 2. And then we're going to go all the way up to my array 3. I'm going to put this is array 3. So, we have our arrays here. 0, 1, 2, 3. And you can keep going and going and going. It's like the Energizer Bunny. So, I'm going to make one more variable called myVar. And you're going to see why in a second. Well, actually, I'll tell you. The cool thing about these square brackets is you can put something like this. Now, we have my array 0. And we see myVar holds the value of 0. Instead of putting in 0, we could put my array, and then in the square brackets we can put in myVar. So my array holds the value of myVar, which is 0. So of course it's still going to output, this is array 0. So that's something cool you can do, but let's leave it for this like this for now. Going to accept, and then in our global left pressed, we're going to put this myVar plus equals 1. And you're going to see why this is important here in a second. Then in our draw event, we're going to draw out our arrays. So we're going to put draw text xy my array. Then in square brackets, we're going to put myVar. And that's it. So, hopefully you guys have figured this out. So my array starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, and myVar starts at 0. So since it's drawing out my array, and in the square brackets we put in myVar, well, myVar of course starts out at 0, so the first thing that it's going to draw out is this is array 0. Now when we click the left pressed, it's going to add 1 to myVar. So of course, since myVar will then have the value of 1, it's going to draw out my array, and in here it's going to be 1, so it's going to change it. Let's go to create event now. It's going to change it to this is array 1. Ha! Very cool stuff, right? So, let's check. Yeah, it's in there. So let's run the game. And da-da-da-da-da-da. So, this is array 0, this is array 1, this is array 2, and this is array 3. And we don't have array 4, so we get an error because we clicked again and myVar got the value of 4, and we don't have an array for 4 yet. So, very, 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 very cool stuff. Again, useful for inventories because you'll have stuff like, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, and then slot 1 will be empty, slot 2 will initially start off empty. And then when you pick up an item, when you click the item, you of course want to give whatever slot is empty first, you want to give it that item. So let's say we click on a sword. Well, then slot 1, we need to give that a value of, dagger or whatever we picked up. So it's just something I want you to be aware of for in later tutorials when we go into, inventory stuff and whatnot. But someone asked me what an array was and how you make an array, and that is basically how. Easy stuff, nothing to get confused over. It's just you can have the variable with the same name, but you can just put a value in here, whatever you want it to be. And of course, this is very cool that you can put a variable within those square brackets. So it's like a variable within a variable, and it's something to get excited about. It's just it's revolutionized my life when it comes to programming. I'll tell you what. So, any questions? Send me a message, comment, rate, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching.